So welcome to the Wednesday Team Prosperity Weekly Meeting. This is a weekly meeting where we get together and discuss things that can have an immediate impact on your business, as well as some things that have come up during the week. These are always recorded in the Facebook group, on the YouTube channel, and emailed out as well at the end. We are into June, so what that means is that, like we just talked about, the next number of weeks is going to be very, very tough. So what we teach people is, number one, power through. And then number two, concentrate on what you can control. You can't control everybody during this period of time. It's only right, especially coming out of these lockdowns from last year, that people are going to want to go out. And so you're going to have to make contacts, probably fill up a pipeline that maybe isn't as active during normal times, but it will spill over into the fall and winter months and give you an advantage. Couple things that we need to make sure that we're doing consistently. And I've charted this on my own. I've charted it with Alana. We've kind of done it together. In LinkedIn, the times that I use automation versus the times I don't use automation, it's clear what's happening. Stuff's just not getting done without the automation. Now, I've got a Facebook business page that I drive traffic to, write articles, do all the things, but I'm going to start using my personal Facebook page more as a lead generation tool. We've got some automation coming for that. We'll go through these things, on a team level, one-on-one level, but trust me, guys, if you adopt the mentality of automating as much of this as you possibly can, makes it a lot easier. Things get done. You save yourself from yourself. Like we just talked about, June, July, and August, it's going to be tough. It's going to be slow. People are going to miss appointments. People are going to not really be that active and in a mental state where they're thinking about getting things done, because family picnics, family reunions, lakes, beach, friends, neighbors, whatever, there's going to be a lot going on. It's kind of a reopening period. Power through this. And like I said, concentrate on what you control, which number one is just showing up and making an effort. If you do that anytime, you're doing better than most of your competition, especially in times like this. You can gain a key advantage. So remember, no matter what's going on, the effort, the concentration, the attitude, the grit, all of these things that you control, that's what you concentrate on. Last week, we went through a second half playbook for your business, what you should be focusing on, 4 parts of your playbook, what exactly those entail. Automation, once again, is going to be a driving force and a must factor going forward. Your importance as an educator, how you see yourself, what's your purpose, and then social media as part of your overall plan. This week, we want to talk about increasing awareness in your business by learning how to talk to people, explain things, build general interest to the point we can start to move them through the front end of that educational pipeline. A couple of things I want to explain to you guys is that we do have a Facebook group. It's a closed group for members. Obviously, you guys know that, but I don't think that some of you guys or some of the new partners understand that in that group, there's a navigation bar up here. In, for example, the files, there is a grip of stuff right down here. I just keep, putting more and more things in here. Now, some of the stuff is not going to have any value for you. Some of the stuff's going to have a lot of value. So if you're looking for things, go through here, because there's everything that you could possibly look for in terms of becoming a better marketer, manager, educator, consultant, salesperson, handling objections, all of those things. And then also in the media section, videos. Some of these videos are geared towards you guys, like internally, in terms of getting better at certain parts of your business. Some of these are just, motivational videos. There's a lot here. We've had this group open for, a few years now. So there's a lot of material here. So if you're looking for stuff, understanding the navigation bar, besides just the posts, the comments and stuff, there's a great deal of information here. Also in our YouTube channel, of course, you have the general search on the channel, on the YouTube itself, but you also have channel searches. So when you guys go to a channel, you can search for things. Like if I was looking for something specific here, if I've done a video on it, I can locate it through the search bar. So how do we talk about our company? I think that our company has to lead with the fact that we are a smart technology company. So, some of us have been talking about this lately. If you lead with that, and people are embracing and loving technology, that's a conversation that you want to continue. If somebody's put off or turned off by technology, they hate it, they haven't really adapted, then that's a conversation that you want to end. There's nothing wrong. It just doesn't fit into what you're trying to do. I was reading an article a few months back. Christopher Walken, the actor, he doesn't embrace technology at all. He doesn't have a cell phone. He's never sent an email. That's not the type of person that would fit into my potential persona of who I'm looking to talk to. And then outside of being a smart technology company, we use data-driven education to solve big problems with solutions that most people need, want, and desire. So when you're talking about yourself, talking about what you do, talking about the company, understand there's some key words that serve as a filter and also serve as a general interest point to get that motivation going to take the next action step. When we are talking to people, when we are educating people, we need to come from a position that we're trying to empower them, because we can, from what we understand and know, we can talk down to people. And that's really not going to give them the sense of feeling where they want to go forward. They want to continue the conversation. They want to use the product or service. So remember, good marketing makes the company look smart. Great marketing makes the customer feel smart. So everything from the top end marketing down to when you're having your conversation, if you organize your language and communication around empowering somebody with the information that we give out, instead of making them feel like, belittled, it's going to work out a lot better. Because when you empower people, they're going to take that next action step. When they feel like they've been talked down to, they usually are paralyzed to taking that next action step. So we're a technology company. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we're employing 21st century technology into what we do to provide solutions for people that they really can't screw up. I mean, as long as they just follow some simple instructions, all the hard work is done for them. Technology's changed the way we live, work, engage, communicate. People need to understand that when you're looking at money, if you're gonna get ahead, technology needs to be part of that answer. And then along with technology, we have an emotional attachment to two things. And these are big in marketing and educating and sales, the power of possibility. A lot of people have lost this. So when they look forward, they don't really see something positive happening. They need to adopt the mindset, and we need to educate on the mindset of, things can change, and, you can create a lifestyle that you actually want and desire, versus just accepting what comes down the pipeline. And then on the other side, the fear of missing out. So what are other people doing? The fact that I could miss out on something that could be life-changing. The two of those, what can be, and the power of possibility and the fear of missing out. You get good at, kind of intertwining this into your communication, language, marketing. It creates emotional attachments to what we're trying to do. I've really changed my approach to the marketplace, and I think that a lot of you guys have too recently, because I lead both partner and client conversations into the educational meeting. I think that's the easiest thing to do, because if I want to interview a potential partner, I can still get it done on that meeting. If I'm looking at a client, I still get the education done on that meeting. It doesn't matter which it's a fluid conversation, because I'm leading with the education. I'm getting to know the person, and it can end up, that person might be a partner, might be a client, might end up being neither, both. But I think really helping people understand, A, what we do for clients, and then B, on the opposite side, how that creates an enormous business opportunity. I think a lot of that can be accomplished in that educational meeting. So that's what I'm asking people to do. If you're looking to increase your business as some type of a real estate insurance agent, whatever it might be, or you're looking to, obtain some financial goals and dreams for yourself, look, check it out. This is what we do. Only thing I'm asking you to do on that first meeting is show up. If you can do that, I can help you. We're going to be teaching, how banks bank, how banks are stacking the deck against you, but the rules of the bank. What does a bank want? They want cash flow. They want to earn interest. They want to use leverage. They want to use other people's money. They want their money back faster. They want to take guarantees, and they want low risk. A lot of the things that we can teach and educate and guide people into our products and services do exactly what banks do. And that's exactly what we're trying to teach. If you learn how to bank like a bank, adopt that mentality, the banking principles, understand how money works, strategic money flow, then you have charted a new course for yourself that's going to lead you into direction like we talk about that you actually want to end up. And once these things have been learned, you can start to understand how to kind of surf and navigate the landscape. And then once you're able to understand, what banks do, implement that in your own life and kind of catch this wave of financial literacy, financial freedom, that allows you to start doing things like building net worth, improving your cash flow, building up cash flow from multiple streams of income. But the place that we start and what people have to understand is you're not going to get anywhere unless you learn how to improve your cash flow. So that's really at the forefront of what we do. Part of our solution and part of the problem that we solve is improving people's cash flow, because when you improve people's cash flow, they have more buying power that they can take into those other areas. So would somebody like to improve their cash flow? I don't think that you would come across many people that would say no to that question. So let's move on a little bit to something different. And this is kind of, no matter what you're starting, there's some key metrics that you have to look at. So if you're building stuff organically, there's a sweat equity price to pay for that. You're manufacturing the demand. But if you're out there paying for paid advertising, you want to concentrate on two things. That's the cost of acquisition of a client. What does it take me in dollars to acquire a client? That's one of the main things, because this is how you grow and scale a business based on any number of marketing legs that you're looking at. Once you have your COA, your cost of acquisition in place, you know what it costs you to acquire a client. Now, on the other side of that, what's my return on investment? What am I paying towards whatever it is that I'm marketing? What am I getting back off of that? And then, what is that ROI? So if you've got a nice ROI, then then I can go back to this, and I know that if I expect to put X amount of money in, I'm getting a multiple of that. Now, on the other hand, if your ROI is negative, that means this marketing is not going to be working, not going to be something that you want to rely on going forward. The numbers will always tell you what's working and what's not, but it's very important, guys, that you have to give yourself enough time on anything. And I always tell you 90 to 120 days is what you're going to have to give. Marketing legs that I started a few weeks ago, stuff from that starting to, kind of come to fruition now in terms of appointments, in terms of potential sales. But if I had just, gone a week, taken a couple weeks off, started it, I'm not going to get the same type of buildup of that pipeline that I get from the continuous motion. Like I said, if you go 90 to 120 days of something, you're going to be able to tell. This is great, this is a disaster, this is so-so, and that's going to lead you to a data-driven decision. Before that, it's really a decision based on emotion, guys. You want to try to X as much of that as you can out of your business. So email marketing is very effective, but one of the things you have to understand is if you've got a call to action on that email, then it needs to be highlighted. Don't put a bunch of stuff around there. The more words you have in an email, probably the worse that email is going to be in terms of conversion. And you also have to understand, hey, if I'm going to take the time to craft an email and send it out, what's the best chance statistically in terms of the possibilities to reach somebody and have them open it? So your emails need to go out, like I said, when it's the best chance overall for somebody to open them. And then you need to craft them in a way that you really work on conversion. You're not trying to overload them with as much information. You're trying to get them to do one thing and one thing only in the email, whatever that might be. Highlight that, give them the reason to take that action step. This is going to be a day-by-day process. And, if we were building, let's say we all were assigned to build an apartment building, and then 17 days later, the foreman comes out and he or she is really upset because the apartment building's not finished and rented out. Well, that sounds, ludicrous to us. Same thing here. It's going to be a day-by-day process. Some days are good, some days are bad, some periods of time, very seasonal, like what we're rolling into right now. But you got to stay consistent and understand that if you build this business consistently, day by day, this is a very profitable, lucrative opportunity for you, your business partners, and us as a team. We're really looking to be on the forefront of everything, helping make the decisions. When you're talking to partners or clients, or sometimes if you're even talking to yourself, if things aren't, going in a way that you want them to, it's always about the decisions that we've made in the past that led us up to this point, and what decisions we're going to make now and in the future that are ultimately going to keep us on one of two paths. It's going to be an old life path, just stay the course. I'm not going to do anything. I'm cool with where I am, not really looking to, advance at all. Or the new life. Sometimes the new life can be scary because it's uncertain, but there is so much that we can put in front of somebody that can dramatically alter their life course, that you guys need to be excited about it. And you need to help people understand they are the writers of their script. They're the creators of their journey. So what's going to happen, because it's up to them. We can lead them somewhere, but ultimately they've got to take the action steps. And they have to understand that anything works against you can also work for you once you understand the principles of reverse. So if somebody's in a bad financial position right now, or maybe if they're just in a mediocre position, that can turn around based on a number of things. Once again, that's leads with education. But when we're talking about this quote right here, and we put it into a monetary kind of analogy, that's the rule of 72. Remember, if I owe 10 grand on credit cards paying 16%, well, guess what? I'm doubling my lender's money every 4 years. So that's money working against me. The rule of 72 is working against me in that situation. If I've got 10 grand and I'm able to make 16% return on that, well, my money's doubling every 4 years. So you have to understand that no matter where we are in the picture of the puzzle, things can be changed, things can be reversed. We can take action steps to make sure that when we recognize money working against us, we can take the necessary steps to make sure that we solve that. And then on the other side, have that start working for us. Interest, we want to teach our clients that we want to cancel interest, and then we want to accumulate assets that pay us interest. Right now, people are leaking so much money that when you look at people's personal financial situation, a lot of people just have no idea what's going on. So when you introduce what's going on, you've got to do it in a way that's emphatic. That's like I talked about earlier, that empowers them, but making sure they understand that they've got options here. They've got choices, and doing nothing is an option and a choice. It's a terrible one, but it is one. So let's talk about this for a minute. I don't know how many of you guys have done some of these analysis where people are paying $1,000 or more in interest for that particular month that you guys were looking at. That is a lot. So if somebody's making $4 grand net, $1,000 is going out interest, 25% of their net is going to interest. That's lining the lender's pocket. So that's money working against them. Well, on the opposite side, what would it take for us to earn $1,000, per month? Well, it would take, if we could get a 6% rate on $200,000, that would get us there. Now, I'm not talking about tax situations and tax liabilities, but just a gross number here. 200 grand at 6% get us $1,000 a month. So what does it take to earn that much interest? And then vice versa. What are we paying our lenders right now in interest? Because our job as educators is to identify the financial drain, effectively reverse that cycle, and show people a new way. When we talk to people, we have to focus on what's there to gain, because people, especially with fixed mindsets, it's hard for them to grasp the other side, the growth, the opportunity, because they're so fixated sometimes on things like price and cost. So what we need to learn to do is help people evaluate and break out of that mindset to see and start focusing on the potential to gain, because the potential to gain is far more exponential than the little small risks they have. And like we always talk about, if you're using smart technology, you can't mess it up. The only way that it would not work for you is if you don't use it. And that's value. So what's it worth to the client to get them to an end point at some time in the future and accomplish these goals? When you're talking about life goals and dreams, this should be pretty valuable for somebody that you're talking to. So you need to learn not to ask any old questions. We've talked about and stressed the importance of asking questions in these environments, but ask the right questions. And one of the ones that I've learned to ask recently for people with, I call it a fixed mindset, or they're fixated on cost, is let me ask you two questions. And I use the third as a follow-up. Question number one, and answer this honestly when I'm talking to a client. If what we were looking at today was free, would you commit to start using it right now today? Okay. Question number two, if at X date in the future, if at 5-6 years in the future, we were able to accomplish Y, whatever that is, house free and clear, savings, investing, whatever it is that they've lined out and that we've seen, would this have been an extremely important conversation and purchase? So A, you're trying to get them to realize if it didn't cost money, would you use it? Of course they would. And then B, if you paid for it down in the future and you were able to get to this point and accomplish this, would this not have been an important conversation and purchase? I got one final follow-up question for you. So under those two scenarios, what's holding you back from getting to your goals? It's that preemptive thing that people put in where it's an automatic, resistance. No. So you got to learn how to help people reframe how they think and look at possibility. Everybody's got regrets, right? We look back, I should have bought Bitcoin when it was less than a penny. I should have bought, this. I should have invested in this. I should have done this. Everybody's regrets, throughout life. That's part of the human journey. So what we have to understand is that if you have regrets in the past and you don't change the way that you look at the world, the way that you react to the world, what you do for yourself, then you're going to have more and more and more regrets. So regrets of the past, you don't want to make those the regrets of the future. So you start eliminating some of those regrets that you could potentially have in the future by making good choices today so you don't have the regrets tomorrow. Regrets of the future are just going to come from bad decisions today, right? So when you look at this, you have to learn from history. You have to learn from your own history. You have to analyze, and you have to do some self-inventory. Why am I at the position I'm at right now? Whether that's good, bad, or ugly, what's happened? And then what do I learn about myself? And what do I learn from my actions and my decisions so that I can go forward and I'm not doomed to repeat that same process? We're trying to break people out of cycles. We're trying to give them the power of choice and help them understand that freedoms in terms of financial freedoms starts with the decisions they start to make today. Because like we said, if nothing is the choice, then the ultimate outcome of that, no one's going to like, and it's going to be full of regrets. Some of the things that I try to paint a picture is like for example, if we're talking about years of canceled debt payments, what would somebody do with that money? Would they invest? Would they travel? Would they buy more stuff? It's up to them. But ultimately, if you didn't have to make those payments, $1,500, $2,500, $4,000 a month, whatever it might be, what would you do with that money? Because that's real money sitting in the future waiting on you if you're willing to take hold of it right now and build a roadmap to get there. And then, if you were at that point and if you had financial freedom, well, guess what? You can do whatever you want today. And that's ultimate freedom. When you have financial freedom and time freedom to do what you want with who you want, all of these is what I call the new rich. Rich is about, not just about having money. I know a lot of people that have money, but, they don't have any quality of life because of how they earn their money. They might be in a self-employed practice. They're working 80 hours a week or whatever it might be. So it's a combination of financial freedom and time freedom that gives you the new rich. That's what we're trying to map out a plan for people to achieve. If you get to the point in a lot of these presentations, and it's an option. So, are you going to do nothing based on what you see today? You're going to try to do some of this on your own? Or are you going to use our way? And if somebody says, I want to do it on my own, you got to make sure to help them understand that, I don't know many clients who made that choice who are doing very well. I know a lot of clients who chose our way that are doing very well because the numbers speak for themselves. So is it working? And how would you know? When you do things on your own, is it even working? How do you know? There is significant value to what you do. Saying that I'm going to do this on my own when the numbers overwhelmingly speak to the fact they should use our smart technology, that's just a form of procrastination. That's just a sales objection. You have to learn how to overcome that by helping them understand, I don't think you're going to be able to get this done on your own. We are leveraging ourselves to a distribution model. So when you guys are hiring people, I really want them to understand what we're trying to accomplish. Yeah, if somebody wants to come in as a personal producer, add services to their book of business, we obviously have a place for them. But really what I want going forward, I want dedicated distribution partners who want to set up multiple agencies across the country. I want this to be, you know, their kind of game plan. If this person right here is the kind of person you're talking to, we're very interested in talking to them, you know, possibly bringing them on, training, supporting them, coaching, mentoring them, because I know we will get to a place where they will be independent and can take this off and manage 10, 15 offices or so. We're going to use the summer months here as an opportunity to do some summer school. Obviously, it's not mandatory. It's going to be totally voluntary, but what we're going to be teaching this year, and I might just do it in some Facebook Live groups, I'm not really sure, is internal training programs. So we're going to do social media automation. We're going to learn how to use these funnels that we're creating so that, you know, that you can come out of these summer months with, you know, everything that you have in terms of your tool belt, your marketing assets, you know, the support to really blow this business up and build massive distribution. So that's all we've got for this week. I hope you guys got some value out of it. We'll return next week for Wednesday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific for another round of meetings. Thanks, guys.